Sir, we also now want to bring in Keir Simmons, who is our chief international correspondent. Keir, good morning to you. What is the international reaction that you've been hearing as you've been sort of walking through this all morning? One of the questions that's been posed is what message does this send to other countries that may want to go into neighboring countries and nations?
Laura, this is stunning internationally and also, in the same sense, not surprising. If any world leader missed it in 2025, the message opening 2026 from President Trump is, "You will bend to my will." And what we're hearing from US allies is caution in the statements that they are releasing. So the European Union, for example, itself under pressure from the Trump administration, Keir saying the EU has repeatedly said Mr. Maduro lacks legitimacy, and then going on to say, we call for restraint. Now, the US National Security Strategy, published just at the end of 2025, clearly identified migration, drugs, crime as, in the Western Hemisphere, threats to the United States. So that's one of the aspects in which this is not a surprise. The Maduro regime inside Venezuela, we are hearing making statements, for example, one of its vice presidents saying that President Trump only partially achieved its goals. So the question now, as you have been saying, is what will the Maduro regime do? And that will be being closely watched by governments around the world. Nothing this morning from the Venezuelan opposition. So what is the plan now? What is the Trump administration's strategy? How will this play out? All of that is up in the air. And that, I think, is one of the reasons why, certainly from the US, America's allies and partners, you're hearing cautious statements.
And Keir, specifically to the point that you're making right now, those are among the questions we're trying to get answers to right now. Where is Nicolás Maduro? Where will he be taken? Under the first Trump administration, he was indicted alongside about 14 other allies for criminal charges of drug trafficking, among others here. You were talking about the global fallout as well. We have now heard from the Russians amid the crisis between Russia and Ukraine. Russia responding, saying that the U.S. committed an act of armed aggression against Venezuela. They call it deeply concerning and condemnable, which is notable given the president's desire to try to wrap up the war between Russia and Ukraine. But specifically to you right now, really it seems like Venezuela faces a fork in the road, whether it's to be a democratically governed country or whether there is to be another authoritarian leader. And ultimately, that's the real challenge. Who leads Venezuela, and who are we hearing from there so far this morning?
That's right, Peter. And governments around the world will be watching that closely, and historians will be making the point that US interventions in other countries have had mixed outcomes, not least, of course, the regime change in Iraq, which so impacted the political climate in the United States, and some would say led ultimately to the Trump administration. But let's just get back to that question of what America's adversaries are saying, Peter. It's inevitably denounced by Cuba, Colombia expressing deep concern, condemnation from Iran. This is a multi-layered action by the United States in terms of the international implications. Remember, Iran is very close to Venezuela, and it has got protests there. And just in the past 24 hours, President Trump has been threatening the Iranian government, saying, if you target those protesters, we will target you. You mentioned Russia. Russia saying that this is armed aggression against Venezuela, describing it as concerning and condemnable. President Putin and Maduro are allies. They have been very close. So in that sense, it weakens Russia. At the same time, Russia looking to play the diplomat, President Putin and the Kremlin saying, well, we will help to stabilize this. One final point, Peter, silence from China. The National Security Strategy identified China as the key competitor for the U.S. in the Western Hemisphere. So far, we haven't heard from Beijing. And
domestically, you can see the contours of the criticism, basically saying a regime change war in Venezuela is based on absurd rationales about drug trafficking and no explanation of the goals. We're hearing that from some leading Democrats already this morning. Keir Simmons with the very latest. Keir, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.